Hi.
Hi, Sharon.
Hi, Kelly. Hi, Adam. Adam's
Yeah.
not there.
Yeah.
I'm not losing my marbles. I know he's not there. I can see that he's not here.
Yeah. Yeah. Because he and
uh,
I were going to sing happy birthday tune for you.
oh, thanks.
He was going to be on the kazoo, but
Oh, wow. Next time.
yeah.
I can't believe I'll have to wait a whole year.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do a remix version. I'd actually like to see Adam play the kazoo. I'm sure it would be enjoyable for everyone involved. Yeah.
uh, yeah, I think we should, consider that as a sideline.
Yeah.
You know how you have to have like a multi-level presence on social media and stuff like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
that could be another layer that really isn't being,
Tapped into
dissected or tapped into. Let's get in it.
at the radio station that I used to work for. We had a bit on our morning show called Kazoo Classics.
Ooh,
It was really fun.
I
And
bet.
my co-host would play the kazoo and would play sometimes would do I think we mainly did like classic songs or whatever. A couple of times we'd throw in popular ones that were sort of being played at the time.
Yeah,
People would call in and guess what he was playing, and it was super funny, and he
that's
he
cool.
played that kazoo very well. It was very fun.
Wow. You know what? The thing about the kazoo, and no offense to your colleague at that time, is that it's sort of like a foolproof and yet foolhardy
Yeah.
instrument. Like it's very playable
Yeah.
slash kind of annoying. So
Yeah.
maybe maybe it's okay that it's as vintage as it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, it's enjoyable on all accounts, and so happy birthday, Sharon.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. We are in a
Um,
kazoo free zone, at least for tonight,
did we do anything special on
or
the
today,
on the
or this
celebration?
morning,
Yeah.
or wherever you're listening. Deb and I went out for dinner last night. Um, and we just ate dinner last night. It was my birthday was on a Tuesday, so that's it doesn't say rager.
Yeah.
So we had a nice dinner, and I have to get up for work at like 5 to 4 a.m. So we may go out, maybe have maybe a little later evening on the weekend.
Got it. Very
But
nice.
it was very nice. I'm very fortunate. On the radio station that I work, we have very thoughtful listeners who, without my even saying anything or my co-host even saying anything, were texting, "Hey, isn't it your birthday today?" So
Oh,
it was very nice. People are kind, they jump on social media and they tell you how nice you are. It's great.
did your better half tell you that we were in cahoots?
Yes, she did.
Okay, very nice. Yeah.
Yes, I appreciate that. So the whole idea that we didn't record on our regular
Yeah.
evening, I appreciate you guys accommodating me. And clearly, it wasn't as easy for Adam to do it because he got knocked off our rescheduled time for tonight. So he is here in spirit as usual.
Mhm.
And technically, like literally technically, will make us sound great for everybody else. So thank you, Adam.
Yeah, because even though he doesn't get to do the show, he gets to put it together.
Yeah. He's got the skills with a Z.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, what we're going to talk about today, Kel, is which funny lady will get some much deserved recognition for her decades of work. That's the best part about those stealth artists. When you look back, when you know them for something more current, but then you scratch the surface a little deeper and you're like, wow, decades. She's been here for a long time. So it's no surprise that she's getting the award that she's getting.
Mhm.
We'll talk about that. Also, which format is making a comeback for music fans? And a little hint would be that Rachel and some Brit fans of 90s now are likely contributors to this new trend. And hint, hint, it's not vinyl because that's already made its comeback. And proof of that will come with us talking about Record Store Day and the star of that show, which will also tie in a now element, which is kind of what we commit to on 90s now. Also, Missy Elliott having responded to a fan on social media, which is amazes me when giant superstars do that. But she did it, and it's inspirational. So we'll get to that in a moment. But as of the beginning of this collective, we came upon some news that's pretty big. And by the time this podcast gets to you, you'll have likely more information than what we do right now. But Praz, one of the Fuji originals, is in some pretty big trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. He federal trouble, Sharon. Federal.
That's not good.
No, because that's worse than your county jail.
Yeah. Oh yeah, a lot worse. And he's looking at up to 20 years. Is that right?
Yeah. So I knew that the court case was going on. Didn't know that they were deliberating like already. And Leonardo DiCaprio was actually a witness in this case, and I believe it was for the prosecution, so against Praz. And it's a case coming down to, from what we understand, political influence. And he ended up basically, I guess, taking, I'll say allegedly, but it is like he's been found guilty of like taking a $20 million pay to have payout, I guess I should say, involving then President Barack Obama.
Really?
Photo op is what it is. So again, I won't get into specifics because we don't exactly know the full details at this point, but
nor do we have a legal team.
Yeah. So allegedly is our key word here.
Allegedly.
But at the moment, he is been found guilty and he faces up to 20 years. And his lawyer did say that they plan to appeal. So that's what we know as of this recording of our show. And I guess that reunion for the Fugees is not going to happen at this point.
No, we'll have to wait on that. I mean, it's not funny, but now we can, at least it's not Lawrence Hill lack of time management that's going to make them late for this reunion. We'll keep you posted as we get more information on that. So we'll move on. We'll move on also knowing that we've got Kelly's trivia coming up and a 90s rewind that'll take us right back into the sweet spot of our favorite decade. But also because we were talking about Missy Elliott and going on social media, the idea that, like I was saying before, that giant superstars take to social media and respond to people's questions, I love it. It's risky. Someone like Pink also will answer the negative stuff. She'll take on her own detractors, let's say, and I think it's good. I think it's also a bit of a waste of time because you're never going to turn those people around. I'm not even sure if they're actual humans, if they're just generated accounts that are, installed to instigate kind of thing. But in the case of Missy Elliott, I think that what she has responded to is inspiring, and it's asked about what inspired her to keep on keeping on. So the quote, and I know you have this too, Kel, is what she responded in a tweet was, "I've seen many strong women in the industry before me that made it through. My mom was in an abusive relationship, so I told her I would make it so I could get her out of that situation, and I would make sure she never have to work again." That's what really kept me going. So I thought that was great that she answered a question that was positive in nature. And I think the ripple effect of an answer like that will inspire other people of any age to do the same. Sort of keep your head down and do what you got to do. That's Missy Elliott, as far as I'm concerned.
She is. Do you follow her on social media, Sharon?
I can say that I do, but social media lately with my schedule, I'm on it when I'm on it, and I miss a lot when I'm not, truth be told.
You should follow her you should I maybe click on her.
Pay attention.
You should, yeah, because maybe it'll show up in your algorithm. But she is so inspirational, and I know you're not a fan of Twitter, but she's very active on Twitter in responding to fans, which I think she responded on Twitter this time around. So
it was, and I am not a fan of Twitter because it is very negative there.
Yeah, but not her. Like
Good.
she is so she and Steve Harvey, like.
Nice.
Feud, like the host of the Feud guy, and like Steve Harvey, who's like an amazing host and all that stuff. Like he's so inspirational. I follow him too. Like he's great. But Missy often replies to fans, often puts out these nuggets of like positivity because she always wants to like share her experiences and especially because the industry that she's in has been so challenging, even though she's had success. But she's always like, don't give up. If you believe in yourself, you got to keep going. But really well thought out words, super positive. And she's always, always grateful for everything that's happened to her. And the one thing that she says that is just, it's always stuck in my brain. And when I see the two words together or see them, I just think of her immediately, because she always says, "I'm humbly grateful." That is when she does award show acceptance speeches, like that comes out when she's writing on Twitter. So that is how she operates. And it's fantastic.
I think it's a great place to be, to position yourself for whatever level of success and whatever industry you are looking to dominate or even tackle.
Mhm.
Because there's always going to be someone that's going to try to knock you down, always.
Mhm.
So best to sort of not let yourself get too high up so that the tumble won't be super hurtful.
Mhm.
And I think when you put yourself in a position of humility and just an awareness overall, you're in a better position to recognize all the good things that are coming your way, not just
Yep.
like the stuff that's up here. Like there's
Yep.
so much everywhere to be able to take inspiration from. That she's right. I like the humility off of Missy Elliott.
Yeah, she's a rock star. I love her so much. I love that I have a little audio clip of her saying, like, "I'm Missy Elliott hanging out on the Kim Alexander show."
That
That
should be
will
like your text tone.
yeah, that'll be what I'm buried with, I've realized. So, yeah.
All right. Well, at this point, Adam would magically put in some so that we could get into Kelly's trivia.
Boom.
Bingo.
Here we are.
Bingo.
I should tell him this is the time that he needs to put this in. The sound effects.
Insert here.
Insert here. So art and literature,
I
Sharon.
was just going to say, insert here is a totally different podcast.
Yeah.
Go on. Another channel. Dark
Another
web.
channel
Whatever.
entirely. Not sure we're allowed to talk about it on this one. Which famous author wrote the 1996 novel The Green Mile?
Stephen King.
Good for you. I totally forgot that. So are you a fan? Like his books scare me.
Am I a fan of winning? Yes.
So,
yeah, he's he's
yeah.
intense.
Yeah, my sister like reads all his stuff. Like I even remember like when I was little, like she was reading Pet Cemetery, I think it was back in the day, you know, like
Yeah.
all that stuff. I appreciate
Boku.
his efforts in the world of literature, but I have not read one stitch of anything because I don't need that.
No, thank you. Didn't Stephen King write The Shining also?
I think so. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I can't do it.
So can't do it. No, no, no. Because you actually like I at least watch Criminal Minds. You don't either.
No, I find stuff stays with.
Yeah, okay.
And I don't need that.
Okay.
I can tell you that.
So just a heads up, Sharon has gotten at least 1 point in the last 4 weeks.
Thank you.
Good job, Sharon.
Thank you very much.
Pop culture.
Yeah.
Were Polo Super Mints bigger or smaller than the originals?
Polo Super Mints, were they
I don't know
bigger?
that we have those in Canada.
I don't even know what you're saying.
I guess those are candy.
So I have a 50-50 chance of getting this right.
Yeah.
Were they bigger or smaller than what?
Than the originals. I guess there was
I'm
original.
going to say they're smaller.
Good for you, Sharon.
Hey!
2 for 2.
I know.
For our audio
Work with what you got, Cal.
Sharon's doing a dance. So, yeah. Good job,
that's
Sharon.
exciting. Thank you very much. Suddenly I want a mint.
Yeah. I had to wean myself off just this past week. The mint flavored Lifesaver candies.
Why?
Because I was like eating a lot of them. And because like you can't just have one because they're so yummy that like you have one and you're like, oh, we'll just have another one. And then 27 minutes later, it's
Wow.
it's a problem.
Yeah. Well, you've done the right thing then, Kel.
Yeah, because here's the thing. I used to eat them a lot. And then I got off them like probably 2 years ago. And then what happened is I did get off them. I had to get off them. Then last fall in September, I caught my first cold in like 3 years.
Oh, wow. That makes sense.
Yeah, and I was super lucky because, you know, knock on wood, I have not had the COVID, as my mother calls it, the COVID.
She reads about it on the Facebook or the Google, right?
Yeah. Did I tell you that one of Elaine's family members calls Facebook Bookface?
Oh, God.
It's amazing. I love it. Anyways, so I got myself off them, but then I had a massive sore throat back in the fall, and I can't handle sore throats. I hate them, but I also don't want to suck on or I just can't do the medicated
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's battery acid happening. So but shout out
Good cover, Cal.
yeah. So anyways, got back on them. And then so I've been doing this roller coaster ride for months where like I wean myself off, but then I get sucked back in, Sharon. So
Like the godfather of mints.
yeah. So now I'm off the mints and it's been a few days and I haven't had too much withdrawal, so it's fine.
You have the shakes, you have a headache. What do you get?
Yeah. No, I just miss them. They're a treat. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I just leave them messages on their voicemail. I miss you.
Yeah. You know what sucks is like I always get on these things of like I'll have a bit of this and then like I realize it becomes a problem, so I have to get off them. So that was my
It's
problem.
like do you remember that cartoon character Elmira in Tiny Toons? They
Yeah,
had like
yeah.
she loved the animals so much. Remember? And their eyes would pop out. That's you with mints.
And this thing. We've talked about this before.
That's your little dose. That's the size of your forearm.
Yeah, I don't drink the whole thing at once though. Just so we're clear, because it's a vat of iced tea. I drink sips, and then this lasts me for like 3 days. So
Ew. Kelly, that doesn't sound healthy. I'm concerned.
It's not that healthy. But anyway,
I bet we'd find mints at the bottom of that can if we looked.
Remember when I gave you bubble tea for the first time? Did you?
Yes, I do. I totally remember it.
You should tell people the bubble tea story.
Bubble tea was like, Kelly said, oh, here, it's great. And I'm like, oh, thank you very much for thinking of me. And we're talking like, that's 20 years ago or something like that.
Well, I met you in 2005.
Okay, so it's not 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It's probably like 17 years ago.
Yeah. I went like probably around 07, maybe. I used to come visit the studio a lot. So
yeah, and Kelly brought me a bubble tea. I was like, that's super nice. And took a sip because it's like in my head was going to be like iced tea, and I don't know what the bubbles were, but you take a sip and all the like tapioca things go flying in your mouth. Like, what the heck? You're like, all right, I'm in.
Yeah,
that was it.
Yep,
they're delightful tapioca balls. Now I'll get a half tapioca with like the boba, the bursting boba.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, yes. And it's like, you can't drink that casually, because when you get to the bottom, you want all your tapioca balls, you want everything. But the way they have the straw is shaped to pierce the plastic.
Yeah.
It's not conducive for sucking up all the boba at the end. So it's like a mission. You're digging at it. Anyways, I'm committed, clearly, or should be. But I do loves me some bubble tea, and that's because of my friendship with Kelly Alexander.
Yeah. And you left me a voicemail message about it, which I kept. I think it's still somewhere in my computer because it was the funniest voicemail message I've ever got my entire life. Because you're like Alexander Wagon, because you used to call me that. You're like, Alexander Wagon, thank you very much for my bubble tea. I was surprised to know that these tapioca balls came uninvited down my throat.
It's true. It's like a BB gun, but like in reverse. Who's expecting that? Those aren't bubbles.
Yeah.
Anyway, good story.
Try the bubble tea, Rachel. They must have that down in Australia.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm sure they do.
Are you still watching that New Zealand show Below Dick or whatever?
And Below Dick. I love the fact that I haven't seen it in a while, actually. Okay. It's been a while. And Below Deck, one of the principal characters is she probably had the baby by now, but she's very pregnant. Kate Chastain, fun follow on social media, by the way. Oh. But she's either gonna have a baby or already has had the baby. So without her in the mix, it's a little less fun for me.
Okay.
Anyway, speaking of fun and funny, all that Jennifer Coolidge has to do, in my estimation, is smile or sigh or like pucker her lips. And anything she does will get the laugh. Even her role in White Lotus. And White Lotus was not a comedy, really. Certainly, there were funny moments, and most of them I think were hers. She gets laughs in all places, not just dark stuff like White Lotus. And because of it, because of her commitment, her creativity, her influence, she is being awarded MTV's Movie and TV Comedic Genius Award.
Mm-hmm.
That's saying something, man. This award has not been given out to many people. I think she's the 6th to receive it.
6th and second woman.
Which is cool because the first woman to receive it was Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah.
Who I can't even. She's both these women are like hurt my stomach because I'm laughing so hard. Funny.
Have they done it? They should do like a movie together. I don't know if they have.
Gosh, that would be good.
Can you imagine those two and like Tina Fey and Amy Poehler in the mix?
Oh, God, what was that movie that the Saturday Night Live women did? Was it Wine Country? So that was.
Oh, did they? Oh, yeah. I can't remember what it was called, but there was also one too that, oh, you know who they should also have in there too is what's her face? The one who does oh my God, why am I forgetting? The one from Bridesmaids. They should have the both ones from Bridesmaids.
Maya Rudolph?
Maya Rudolph and
Kristen Wiig.
Kristen Wiig. Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, the women that come out of Saturday Night Live, very impressive. Jennifer Coolidge has come out of nowhere for some people, but she's been doing this for decades.
Mm-hmm.
To see her in films like A Mighty Wind or Best in Show, she's just so funny. She's naturally funny.
Best in Show is amazing, eh?
One of my favorites, easily.
It's
one of those ones I think where you realize, I remember recommending it to a friend who I consider a funny friend. We are funny together.
Yeah.
And she didn't like it.
What?
And I think that it was because you go into a movie experience expecting, finesse and, a start, a plot, very typical execution of how a movie's going to be filmed. But the Christopher Guest films are not that. They are ad-libbed. Here's what we're looking to achieve. Here's the story. Let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So once you get that, that's your crowd divider. And I think that the people that like Best in Show are in a different level of comedic understanding. That's my opinion. Mm-hmm. I think you're funnier if you like Best in Show is what I'm saying.
Thank God. I love that movie.
Yeah. But for this award, MTV's Movie and TV Comedic Genius Award, not only Jennifer Coolidge and Melissa McCarthy as recipients, Jennifer Coolidge being the most recent, but Jack Black, Sacha Baron Cohen, Kevin Hart, and Will Ferrell are also proud owners of statues with their name on it for being funny. And May 7th is the date that they will hand out the award.
And do yourself a favor if you have a chance. I think you can YouTube it. Is find Melissa McCarthy when she was on SNL playing a women's basketball coach.
Oh my God. Hilarious.
It's just
honestly Melissa McCarthy as the game show contestant.
Didn't she also do on SNL like salad dressing? There was a salad dressing one where she was making yeah.
She's physically funny. She's in it, she's in that character. Yeah. So man, I mean, that's the pivot from Jennifer Coolidge. And I think there's another credit to her is that you start thinking of other funny people because it's almost like you're surprised that one person is so easily funny. Yeah. So congratulations to Jennifer Coolidge on her Comedic Genius Award, May 7th for that.
Yeah.
Which means that if you're hearing this episode of 90's Now after May 7th, then you can check the internet. Yeah. You'll probably have great access then.
Yeah. And also I realize as of our recording ce soir, so this will be out also, and this is for you, Sharon, in case you didn't I know you have to go to bed, but Carol Burnett's 90th birthday.
Yes. Thank you. That's tonight because it's her birthday today.
And I say Sharon has to go to bed, but she goes to bed later than I do. So
I do. I'm not on farmer schedule and I wish I was sometimes. But again, I'm achieving with naps. Not that anybody cares to know that the old lady is napping, but she is, and it makes a difference.
Apparently, I was speaking to our good friend Andrew Carter on his show this week, and NASA has put out a thing about 26-minute naps. Did you hear about that?
As being ideal?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I sometimes find that if I go into the 45-minute zone, and certainly if the magnetism of the couch sucks me into something longer,
Yeah.
I have to let myself think that it's okay that maybe I needed the sleep, which I obviously do,
Mm.
but there's a groggy sense of you're dragging if you have a longer nap. So yeah, I can see the sweet spot being 26 minutes for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it would be even sweeter if I got the right amount of sleep at night.
We're
I'll
trying
keep
to work on you, Sharon.
I'll keep trying, I promise.
What time? So if you get up at 3:55,
Ish.
you go to bed at
Last night was like 11. It's
Hey,
usually in
stupid.
the
What are you doing?
I know. I would be thrilled if it was 10:30 based on the fact that it's usually 11.
Right. Okay.
So, because in my mind, I think I want to get everything done that I would normally get done. So I try, but I mean, the reality is there's only so many minutes in a day,
Hmm.
right? So, anyways, I'm not as precious as I'm making myself sound. I'm just trying to better function with a clock. Working on it.
Yep.
Talked about our friends in the UK being part of the it's not a problem, but part of the reason. You're part of the problem, you guys.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Sales of cassette tapes. It's cassette tapes that are making a comeback. It's incredible. I think after the third or fourth wave of vinyl trying to make its comeback and successfully doing it every single time, I would have never pegged cassettes to be the next what's it called? Not a genre of music, but a what? Sorry,
Renaissance.
a good word.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't have pegged it to be the next thing to come back, but
Yeah.
200,000 albums in 2022 alone on cassette. That's a lot.
Yeah. First of all, I didn't even know they were still making cassettes. So this is amazing news.
Well, and cassettes for a generation of people mine and your age have a complete understanding of why it's so important. The whole idea of a mixtape or
Yeah.
even a Walkman. Then you have to get a Walkman to play your mixtape.
Yeah.
Where else are you listening to that? I have a boom box, but like
Yeah.
I'm not carrying that thing around, especially when I can carry around like tens of thousands of songs in my phone.
Yeah.
So it's impressive the commitment that that people have to bringing something like the cassette back. I love it.
And like also, cassette is part of our logo. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
this is amazing. And it's funny because I really didn't even know that cassettes were still being made. I really did not know this. And so reading this honestly gave me like the warmest, like fuzzy heart feelings. Like I was so happy because I love cassettes. Like and funny enough, like I was out in my garage on Saturday, cleaning it up for the spring and summer. I was out there for 4 hours and I had my
Wow.
boombox and I was playing my mixtapes from the 90s.
Oh, nice.
And Sharon, I was having a great time because like cleaning the garage, not fun, right? Like
Oh,
not a fun activity. But I was like, but I used to make like very meticulous mixtapes. And it's funny because when I popped them in, I listened to them so much back in the day, that hearing them again, I remember the year right away. I'm like, oh, I made this in 97. Like it's
nice.
crazy. So I'm
That's
very happy
cool.
about the cassettes coming back.
Surprisingly, based on the background on this shot and knowing that I like to keep things, I didn't keep my cassettes.
Sharon!
Because I didn't think, like, I thought we're not moving away from like a compact disc where you can't even,
Yeah.
like, it becomes intangible, like I thought there's no way cassettes are coming back. So my bad.
Yeah. I still have all mine.
I do have a couple of air checks, which is what we call in radio, you meet with your boss and you have an air check meeting. Normally what happens is or back in the day, what would happen was that you'd pop your cassette in the machine that was triggered by turning the microphone on so that you could go into your meeting with your boss and they would say, oh, that was really good. You are very talented. Or don't ever do that again. Either or, and often, in between those extremes. And I haven't listened back to it yet, but I will.
Okay.
I am nervous though.
I have ones too that I kept from when I first started, and I know it's going to be disaster.
Yeah.
I was long-winded when I first started.
If we can call it back to Missy Elliott and being humbled, I think this cassette experience will take me down a notch.
I remember once I got in trouble from my boss at because When I Think of You has like this crazy, I think it's like a 54-second intro. And And Kelly did it. Kelly did the 54th, and I was so proud of myself. And
That's like a
walking
mic
into
drop moment.
the boss's office, she's like, "What the hell was that?"
It's 1/4 of the song that you just
Yeah.
talked over.
I was so empowered in the moment because I was like yammering about the song and it was like number one and this whatever. And I was like, oh, and then I was like, yeah, Jen, when I think of you, whatever, and hit the post and I was like, woo. And then she's like, sister, don't you do that again.
Oh my gosh. I remember when I went for my interview for my first radio job. Really like this I ended up getting the job, and the boss was like, he set the bar for every other boss after that, which is too bad that nobody ever achieved that greatness as far as I'm concerned, and some have been really good.
Yeah.
But this guy has the esteem of being top of the pile for me. And in the interview he said, so well, what are some of the things that you're good at? What are some of your good qualities in broadcasting? And I said quite confidently, I said, well, I can hit a post. I thought, you're never going to be able to say that anywhere else.
Yeah.
And discussing like the idea that having a familiarity with the music, and I think it is important to be able to hit a post, like to know, to feel the music and to be able to, mentally count down what time you have with what you want to say, blah, blah, blah. And he said, we don't do that here. I'm like, but then I don't have to do it here either.
So awesome.
Yeah. And honestly, I've been in rock for mostly all of my career. And when you get into the classic stuff that people have been listening to for decades, the last thing they want is you talking over that beautiful instrumental start so that you can hit a vocal post to please yourself. So, but if ever asked, Kel, you know what? We know that we can do it.
Yeah.
Now, coming off the news,
like, that particular Janet instrumental, people like to just hear that.
yeah.
I was like, they don't like to hear my factoids about the song because I know all about it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, Kelly.
Time for a rewind.
Well, we're going to get into a rewind, but I did want to mention also, we had talked about the now element of the 90s now, and a pivot from cassettes into record store day, which was just last weekish.
Yeah.
That Taylor Swift was on the list of record store days most wanted. Her Long Pond Sessions was the star of the show.
Yep.
There were a lot of exclusives. There are tons of reissues and colored vinyls and stuff like that happen for record store day, which makes it a really great tie back and throwback to getting people back into that vibe of really, sinking their teeth into music and the community of people that love the music and the conversation that can come from that. So record store day all the way, but really cool that Taylor Swift was on the top of the most wanted list for that day.
T-Swizzle.
Exactly. T-Swizzle. Now, yes, your 90s rewind will take you, I said, into the sweet spot. And I think that since even numbers are always cuter, 1996 would be considered a sweet spot.
That's a Fuji year also.
Well, there you go. But they weren't in the top. I went to the top because I was impressed by the voices within the top end of around this time in 1996. And certainly one of the top voices, period, Celine Dion. Because You Loved Me was on top of the charts again. Celine Dion is doing very well, by the way. She's in that upcoming movie. It's out, right? I just don't remember the name of it. She's busy and she's getting it done, and she's dealing with her vocal stuff, and she's a champ. That's your side note there. Another great voice from around this time in 1996. Perhaps you heard of Mariah Carey.
I did. I love
yeah, Always Be My Baby. And Alanis Morissette, certainly a great voice, rock voice, and Ironic was killing it. And then you get two for the price of one with Whitney Houston and CeCe Winans on Count on Me. What a song. CeCe Winans is effortless.
Yep.
And just like, sure, I'll sing and blow your head off. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, she's so good. I would put smack in the middle of all that just to make sure that we are, balanced. Coolio. 1, 2, 3, 4. Something New was in the top 5 around this time in 1996. And that is your 90s Rewind.
And always RIP to Coolio. Still can't believe he's gone.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Amazing.
So we have
as usual, we get the
a
music.
mail. Sorry, go ahead. Go, Sharon.
No, I was going to say, as usual, we're left with great music and great memories from that. So we are eternally grateful to the artists we love.
Mailbag question for you.
Ooh, bring it on.
So the question is, which 90s artist would you, like, given the opportunity, would you like to have worked with? Like, let's say they needed help with PR or marketing or whatever. Like, who would you have wanted to be on their team?
Right out of the gate, and maybe just because we said her name, Mariah. Because I love her journey. And she had that pocket of time where I think she was having a struggle, and I think that who am I? I think that spotting that, I think I would have had some positive words for her at that time. She didn't need my words. Clearly, she is a superstar and she's come through. I just think that in a time where you're isolated and you're on the stage, you know what I mean? Like you're exposed to millions, but you're feeling likely quite alone. I think I could have been a friend to her.
A life coach, Sharon.
A life coach.
Yeah. Like the original ones, not the fake ones now that put their business up on Facebook and like, want a life coach?
Yeah. You got it.
Where's your credentials? No brainer for me, Janet, but I would have, I think, also enjoyed being a part of George Michael's team.
Yeah, I think he could use a friend too a lot of the time.
Yeah. And I just read an article today, or like because his team or whoever, like who's ever still handling his accounts, because of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame situation, they've been posting a lot. And they've been posting like quotes from him. And so they had a picture of him during his Faith days and the Faith album and that leather jacket and like all that stuff. And there was a quote about how like he chose his own wardrobe. Like nobody styled him. He styled himself.
Pretty amazing. I love that. I love that. You could tell how present he was, how he knew what he needed to do at that time. Like, this is what we're doing. And no, I'm not in the video. Too bad. That kind of stuff I thought was really important. Real presence of mind. And amazing that he's topping the fan vote on the Rock Hall site. I think it's really cool.
Love George. Miss him so much. Yeah. Anyways.
Dark cloud. Okay, well, how about this? Thanks for the mailbag questions, you guys. Keep them coming. Those are fun.
Yeah.
And it's great that we don't necessarily know them right out of the gate so that we can just answer. We're not bound by it. Like if you were to ask me in 5 minutes, my answer might be different, but maybe because Mariah was top of mind in the 90s Rewind, that's where I went. I don't know.
I think you should have been her manager.
Ooh, that would have been fun.
Can you imagine making all those fun decisions with her? Like, no, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Like, it'd be cool.
I think that artists of her caliber or whatever caliber, I think that they are susceptible to like getting hurt and making decisions where they may not be skilled at making those decisions. So
that's what happened to Michael Jackson, right? Like he surrounded himself with people that told him yes to everything. Yeah. My
mother used to say there are givers and there are takers. And that's the balance of the world. It's just important to spot who is which.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody, there you go. I hope you wrote all that down. Thank you very much for being a part of another fun soiree. Adam, we will look forward to your return for the next episode of 90s Now. Still happening.